welcome to BVC's Caribbean Body Talk, where the vision gets clearer every time. I'm Christina Perry, your community news reporter, and on today's program we have a very special edition. It's carnival time in Brooklyn, so you know what that means. And today we're going to take a special time to give tribute to the West Indian American Day Carnival Association. We're going to give tribute to Mr. Carlos Lizama, who is president, as well as all the other members of this carnival committee who have given many, many years of dedication so that this carnival is one of the best in the world. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more on Caribbean Body Talk, where we celebrate Black history every day. As I said in the beginning of our program, we're highlighting carnival time here in New York. And that means the West Indian American Day Carnival Association is going to be focused upon. We have a very special guest with us here today, Ms. Jean P. Alexander. Welcome to Caribbean Body Talk.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I know you're very, very busy at this time of year, and we really appreciate you coming in. Could you please share with our audience a little bit about yourself, how you became involved in Carnival?
About 23 years ago, I went to see the Carnival on Eastern Parkway, and I saw a couple of things that I thought wasn't the way it should be, taken into consideration where I came from, which is Trinidad and Tobago. And I offered my services to Mr. Lizama, and I've been there since.
Specifically, what areas do you cover?
Public relations, marketing, administrative work, special events, you name it. Okay. I do it.
And the West Indian American Day Carnival Association, in the past years, 32 years,
yes.
What has been the major change within the organization that has helped bring Carnival to such a forefront? Because people come from all over.
The changes that I myself have noticed is the growth of the carnival, not only in terms of numbers, but the quality of the mask, the costumes, the quality and the size of the steel bands, which are comparable to Trinidad and Tobago's steel band panorama competition. We have a children's carnival. It is at least 25 years old. It used to be only at the back of the Brooklyn Museum. Now it's on the streets. It is actually the training ground for tomorrow's masqueraders. There's so many other pieces that, as we go along, we build on. Now we have, for the last 16 years, we've had a reception hosted by the mayor, whoever he might be in office at the time, at his home. We have a breakfast, a VIP breakfast that we've had now since 1990, which I started, and also the luncheon, which has been going on at the Brooklyn Museum for almost as long as I know. All these are different pieces that has helped to bring the carnival on a higher level,
okay,
considering everything.
And have you noticed in the past years that the participants in the carnival are more, as far as like the costumes, they're more, I would say more in a technology sense, that they're more detailed, or there's a lot more work put into it so that it's a spectacular show?
It is, that is very true. However, there's something about carnival costumes. The fingers, there are certain things that computers or machines can't do, and you have to have the handiwork. Yes, it's extremely important.
We've visited in the past various mass camps, and even recently we went to St. Thomas and we saw the carnival there. And even though you're talking about different places, the detail and the time, the dedication that is given to the costumes, from the ideas, inception in the mind, to the sketches and everything. It's a lot of time, and from what I understand, this is all volunteer work.
Yes, it is all volunteer. It shouldn't be, but it is.
What do you think, as far as the carnival, the fact that it has sustained so long and it's gotten better, the fact is that people are not being paid, it's got to be something else that's giving them that dedication.
It is the culture of the people. That is something you really can't pay people for. I mean, it is something that you have, you're born with, and you want to make sure that it live on. So you give everything and anything to make sure that happens.
And as one can see in the past years, it's gotten better and better, and more press, more coverage, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with your hard work.
Oh, well, I tried. NBC, for the last couple of years, they covered it. We had
Right.
Fox 5 before. This year, neither one is doing the full-time coverage, but we are going to have little snippets of a number of different stations.
Is there any one particular factor that you think influences who covers what, how much they cover? Is there any particular reason why this year, say, NBC doesn't cover and last year they did?
Well, I understand NBC, according to what they told us, they lost money. There are a lot of little pieces that make up a package when it comes to Carnival. For instance, it is held on a Monday, which is a public holiday,
Right.
and it's in Brooklyn. It is not easy for any television station to cover something in Brooklyn without going through a lot of expense. It is not like the Puerto Rican Day Parade where you just walk outside on the street and you cover it. It involves a lot of technical help, the microwave
The
trucks,
remotes,
the
right.
remotes, all those things that we in ourselves don't consider, but it costs them a lot of money.
But I'm sure that coverage helped in some way boost the awareness, so it brought it to people who may not come out for whatever reason, health reasons, or they just can't travel, and those who maybe never heard of it or heard of it and really didn't pay much attention, that they turned on their TV and said, hey, this is something, and maybe it encouraged them to now maybe this year come and watch and participate in it. So the more press coverage, I would assume, the better.
That is so true. I live in Long Island now, and a couple of my neighbors told me they saw television last year, the coverage, and they never knew this carnival existed in Brooklyn. So it really does bring an awareness to people who may have never heard of Carnival.
I'm glad to have it. Could you tell us, because Labor Day is the main event, what are the other events that lead up to it? Because I know Labor Day is the big parade, but you have so many other cultural activities that are available that people should take advantage of.
Especially the costume competition on the Thursday night, this Thursday. Then we have Friday night. During the daytime, we have the Stay in School, Stay Off Drugs concert for young people. At night, we have a huge jam session for the best bands out of the Caribbean. We have David Rudder and Charlie Roots, Ecstatic with Marshall Montano, Blue Ventures, and Square One from Barbados. On Saturday during the daytime, we have the Children's Carnival on the streets of Brooklyn. Then we have at night the huge steel band panorama competition with 15 bands. They are on the level of Trinidad and Tobago's panorama. Sunday daytime, we have a costume competition for the young kids. Sunday night, we have the Mardi Gras, which features all the winners from the previous four nights.
They come together.
They come together, and they also perform on stage with the Calypso King and Queen out of the Caribbean for the specific year. Monday morning, we have the VIP breakfast. It's the VIP champagne breakfast.
Which
and
is
you
very
know
nice.
that's a wonderful event.
Yes, it is.
After the Grand Marshals come down from the beginning point, we have a luncheon. We have a reviewing stand, and across the reviewing stand, we have live entertainment all day.
Have you noticed that as the years have gone on with the carnival here in Brooklyn, that as far as the other smaller events, that they've grown to enormous size?
Yes, that is true. Even the
Is there
kiddies.
a problem accommodating all the people that want to participate?
Not really. There might be a problem somewhere along the line in terms of the capacity, like the Brooklyn Museum grounds.
Right.
It is getting kind of small. I have no idea where we would expand that to.
Right.
But yes, I can foresee something like that happening down the road.
Is there any particular event that you like, aside from, I know you're involved in all the different things, but is there one particular event that's a favorite of yours?
The Children's Carnival. It's beautiful to see the little tiny kids, 2 years old, trying to dance with costumes.
It's amazing.
Yes, it is beautiful. I have grandchildren, so I have an idea what that looks like.
With the Children's Carnival, because at one time it was held in at the, is it the
The Brooklyn Museum grounds, yes.
But now it goes
It's
out onto
on the
the
streets, yes. It's out there for about 6 hours, and it's the training ground for the future generation of masqueraders.
And the parents, I'm sure they're...
The parents are there with them all the time, showing them
Wow.
how to move and keep in tune with the music and all the things that you really need to do.
Spectacular.
Yes.
And interesting, and like you said, a training ground.
Yes.
When other entities such as, because this is a volunteer group and you have sponsorship to help maintain the carnival functions, but I understand that even though you have corporate sponsors, it's still very tight as far as financially to get this event going.
It is sponsors, I think, because a lot of the sponsors have been with us for many years. They kind of take us for granted. They do not give us the same respect as they would, say, an outside event, like outside of the Caribbean community. I guess you always hear the saying, familiarity breeds a little bit of
but not in that case, because because it's something that they've been doing for a while.
Yes.
And the same money that maybe they gave 5 years
Five
ago,
years ago, they want to give it the
amount,
same amount. That's
not
right.
taking into account just the cost of living.
That's right. Everything is growing. Even the cost of the insurance is
Okay.
over $30,000.
Which is something people.
That's right, and you have to have it. There's no way to get around doing that. And we must have that money to pay for that insurance before Carnival. Where does that money come from?
The sponsors. Do you think that maybe just the sponsors that you have, some of them have been with you for years, but if other corporations that are out there within the community, such as when you go to the carnival, you can look around and you see people wearing designer clothes, and you see a lot of people wearing designer clothes. If these designers just gave a small portion of the money they get from the community, not that they have to empty out their bank account, but if all the different organizations and companies that are here within the community reaping the profits day in, day out, just take a little bit and give back, that it would not be a burden on any one particular company.
You're so
And
right.
everyone could-
Because if you just look at the numbers, 3.5 million people, if even 1 million wore new clothes for that event, that day, there's a lot of money being expended.
Right.
And somebody's making a lot of money. The costume people are not making money, the people who make the costumes. They're the ones who have to go through all that preparation besides us to bring what you see on Eastern Parkway. The steel bands, it costs them a lot of money. I would say between $30,000 and $50,000 to bring a steel band up to competition point. Where are those people getting money from? It is very hard, especially with the quality of life rules that the mayor has in place now. Mass bands and steel bands can't do the fundraising they've been doing in years gone by.
Okay. So at this point, because you're handling the public relations aspect and you're dealing with the fundraising, is it more, is your view more that if many give a little, it'll make it much better than a few being pressured to give a lot?
Yes, that is so true. There are some companies who everybody go to year after year. Those companies, I guess their pockets might be what you call depleted, because everybody has been going to them. We would love to see other corporations. I, this year for the first time, did the marketing, and I have gone to more than 100 new companies. I have not had any type of success. They gave you all kind of excuses.
Well, maybe since this is enjoyed by people from all over, if when they take that time and they go into the store and they buy their item, or they're thinking about buying their item, and say, you know, not for nothing, but I don't see your banner hanging on Caribbean American Carnival Day Association when the carnival, you know, what are you doing for the community? I mean, I'm paying you $120 for this pair of sneakers. Can you give $1 towards, I mean, you know, if everyone just made a little comment like that, maybe it would make them become more aware. Because unless someone tells you, you really may not know. You know, in the sense that it's falling upon deaf ears in the sense that maybe a couple of people make a comment, but if a lot of people make that same comment, they have to listen.
Somebody's going to listen. You mentioned about $1. This year, for the first time, we, with the organization, we are asking every single attendee to give $1 towards our scholarship fund. We have bottles marked clearly WIADCA, and we are hoping that the bottles will be filled at the end of the day.
And tell me more about the scholarship, because I'm not familiar with that.
It started about 12 years ago with Marty Markowitz being the person who put it into practice, and the Daily News has been a very good supporter in the last couple of years, together with some of the corporations, the same ones who've been our sponsors. We would really like to give much more money instead of, to the recipients. This year we have 10 recipients. Last year I think we had 9. Hopefully we'll be able to give maybe about 50 people next year
that would be
to go to college.
Because the education is their future.
Extremely important, more than anything else.
Okay, well, at this time, we're going to take a short break.
When I'm not working, when I'm not playing, when I'm not shopping, I watch Caribbean Predator.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on this special edition of Caribbean Body Talk, where the vision gets clearer every time. On today's segment, we are highlighting the West Indian American Day Carnival Association, its president, Carlos Lozama, and all the members of the Carnival Committee. I would like to, first of all, thank you again for staying with us. Could you please touch upon some of the important things that our audience needs to know about the Carnival and the Carnival Committee?
One of them that I really would like to impart to the audience. West Indian Day Carnival is the promoter of Caribbean people's culture here in North America, especially in the United States. They can teach the skills that are carnival related. We have hundreds of thousands of Caribbean kids who have never been exposed to carnival arts. They have no knowledge of calypso, of steel band, of limbo, of costume making. All these things are there for them. All they need to do is pick up a phone and call us, and we will direct them as to where they can see, where they can learn. Now, that is not the only aspect of our culture that we'd like to make sure that is imparted to younger generations. We do, through our scholarships, try to educate our kids with a good college education.
Okay.
So it's a total parcel.
And
not
as
a
far
piece.
as experiencing these things, this does not take place necessarily at carnival time. This is something that can be
year
taught all
round.
long.
Year round. You have hundreds of young people right now who are part of different steel bands, who are learning music. They're learning to play the steel band. They're also learning to read and write music, which is something that never was a part of steel band in years gone by. Girls and boys.
Are most of these programs within Brooklyn, or are they spread out throughout the city?
We have most of them right now in Brooklyn. Some is in Queens, and a few are in the Bronx.
Oh, okay. So you can basically navigate to something in a
Convenient,
okay.
yes, convenient to you.
Is there any particular, as far as these organizations, are they maintaining themselves through donations, or is this something where the parents themselves are financing the musical training?
Not necessarily. A lot of these bands, these different organizations are having a very difficult time. As I mentioned earlier, steel band costs a lot of money to maintain. The parents of these kids, for the most part, are poor people, and they really can't subsidize the bands or the
way
tutoring.
They would want to.
Yes, of these kids. So it really is always a struggle for the music people, the steel band men, the costume makers. It's always a hard pull for them. And we really have to find ways of having the community at large, corporate America, the government, get some way. We have to find a way where we can bring them in closer to work with us on a more partnership level.
And I'm sure part of your job, or a major part of your job, is to assist that liaison between, say, the corporate America and the Caribbean Carnival, West Indian American Carnival Association. How hard is it? I mean, are there specific people that you contact, say, in a large corporation that would have a Caribbean American contact that would maybe be more receptive to what you have to say?
If that was so, I would love to find that person. But that is not, corporate America is not what we would like it to be.
Okay.
It is almost always, I would say 99% of the time, not a Caribbean person who you have to go to. But our challenge right now is to show them, the corporate America, the benefits of getting involved in Carnival. There is nowhere in the world you can get 3.5 or 4 million people
In
to
one
see
place.
your product, to experience whatever it is, your services that you have to offer, than the West Indian Day Carnival.
And that's direct
It's the
exposure.
cheapest. That's
Direct
right.
exposure.
You can